Hello, guys. Welcome to Viva Barca. Welcome to another interesting episode where we are going to be discussing on some interesting updates. We start with Ousmane Dembele as Barca have started negotiations to renew the player. And even though there are still some difficulties in that process, Barca are confident of renewing him until 2027. We are going to be discussing more on that as we progress. Then, secondly, talking about Atletico Madrid star João Felix, who was currently playing on loan at Chelsea this season. It has been reported that Josh Mendes continued to push for the player to sign for Barca. We are also going to be looking at that. So guys, as we get right into the full stories, please make sure to hit the subscribe button if you haven't. If you're just coming across the channel for the very first time, you are highly welcome. Consider liking the video and please watch the video right up to the very end. A recent report from Spanish outlet Mundo Deportivo has offered an update on the future of Dembele, pointing out that Dembele's release clause has dropped from 100 to 50 million euros since the start of June. This kind of arrangement was originally stipulated in his contract he signed last year. Similarly, the release clause should increase to 100 million after the start of August. Nevertheless, the report points out Barca have no intention whatsoever to offload Ousmane Dembele, and they have started negotiations over a potential renewal. The attacker's current contract at the Camp Nou expires in 2025. Barca are keen on extending it to 2027, and they have already proposed their first offer on the table, although Ousmane is yet to respond to that offer. He has no desire whatsoever to leave Barcelona now. Under Xavi's leadership, Dembele has felt so quite comfortable being a Barca player. He wants to keep working hard on his fitness levels and his performance at the Camp Nou, and everything suggests that Ousmane Dembele will not be willing to leave for a club that are willing to pay 50 million to Barca this summer. Dembele has indeed been one of Barca's most important attackers since the start of last year, especially when Xavi took over the reins as manager. Dembele notably racked up 13 assists last season in just 21 league matches. This time around, Dembele has been involved in 16 goals in all competitions. The winger's season was marred by serious injuries that saw him sidelined for a majority of the year from January to May. But that has not deterred Barca's coaching staff, who are so keen on keeping hold of Ousmane Dembele and also Rafinha ahead of next season. As for other attacking players such as Ansu Fati and Ferran Torres, their future at Barca appear quite uncertain at the moment, and it will be interesting to see how things transpire over the coming weeks. Of course, Dembele's future still remains doubts, even though his contract expires next year. Barcelona want to secure him for a long term before other clubs come, because they know very well that right now as it stands, Dembele's release clause is very cheap. 50 million euros is quite affordable by many top clubs in Europe. And as I've said this earlier, for me, I think they shouldn't be in a rush to give Dembele a new contract. They shouldn't be rushing things because we saw the injuries that he still picked up this season. Yes, last season he had a very good season because second half of last season, Dembele was injury free. Let me put it that way, and we saw the talents. We saw the kind of great, we saw the performance levels. But this time around, I don't think Dembele has had a good season. 4 months out with injury from January to May, and Barca still rushing to extend his contract when I think there are still other things that we should be prioritizing now. So I don't think there should be any um any quick reaction, or I think Barcelona should first of all wait, knowing fully well that this guy is still happy playing for Barca, and if they're rushing for an extension, it might haunt them for me because we don't know if this season, the next season will be another injury season, because fans have been growing frustrated in the other years that Ousmane Dembele has been a waste of money, that the money they have used to buy him, we have not reaped anything from it because every time he spends his time on the hospital bed healing his injuries. And there is no guarantee that Ousmane Dembele will be fit 100% next season. So we know Xavi likes Dembele a lot. The coaching staff likes Dembele, and Xavi wants to do everything possible to see that Ousmane Dembele continue at Barca for many years to come. I think if he continues next season well without any injuries, then I think many fans will back the board to extend Dembele's contract. But if it continues to be like, all right, if the season starts and at a certain point Dembele is out again with a long-term injury, then I'm scared. It's not going to be a good decision for Barca to keep proposing new contracts to Ousmane Dembele, because even though he has the talent, yes, but not to keep pushing him to stay for much longer. Because overall, I don't think the performance level so far in his Barca career have not reached the expectations, considering the amount of money that we used to sign him back in 2017. Then on to the final story of discussion. As Barcelona gear up for a very busy summer window, the club has listed several positions in need for reinforcements. One of those areas require attention remains the centre forward position. 34-year-old Robert Lewandowski is Barca's only natural number 9 as it stands. President Joan Laporta has famously availed his ties with renowned agents, and relationship with Josh Mendes, appears to be well documented by now, with a super agent representing some Europe's top players. Recognized names have frequently been put on the table for Barca. As claimed by Catalan outlet Sport, João Felix looks to be the latest commodity offered to Barca by Mendes, following an unsuccessful loan spell at Chelsea. As he returns to Atletico, Diego Simeone has not shied away from advertising the Portuguese, even implying Barca as a viable destination. This is not the first time Barca have found himself linked with João Felix. In a report mentioned by Mundo Deportivo some 2 years ago, Barca tried swapping Griezmann for him, but Atletico refused, despite finances previously standing in the way of a potential transfer. This time, Barca are opting to back out, owing to contrasting sporting ambitions. Xavi and his staff are reportedly not in favor of that. Felix endured tumultuous time at Chelsea this time around, with scarce contributions, a little value added to the team, in spite of being hailed as a talented prospect by many fans. Since signing for Atletico, the player has struggled to produce some high-scoring numbers in the league. Considering Barca's minimal usage of second strikers, as well as and preference of more traditional number 9, Barca's lack of enthusiasm over Felix does not come across as a bolt from the blue. Heading into the other season, Barca appear to be more focused on acquiring Messi, as well as sorting out the dilemma that lies in the defensive midfield department following Busquets' departure. So guys, with that, we have come to an end of this episode. Thanks a lot for watching. Until next time, bye bye.